Hello, this is Miniature Mike, and welcome to the first round of the Star Wars Miniatures March Madness Sith Lords Tournament. This match will feature number 1 seed Darth Revan versus 17 seed Darth Maul Sith Apprentice. Let's jump right into the match. Initiative 6, 10. Master Tactician will allow Revan to go first. Revan will move and go within range of Force Corruption. Use a Force Point plus the renewal. Do 20 damage and corrupt Darth Maul. Darth Maul will now go. Roll for Corruption, miss. Darth Maul's going to keep the Force Points though. Take the 20 damage and move up to Darth Revan and begin to attack. A 3, that is a miss. Let's go to the next round. Next round, 12. 15, Revan will decide to go first, and Revan will just gain a Force Point for renewal and use triple attack. 8, hit. 14, hit. 3, that is a miss, but Revan will keep the Force Point, no rush. That was 40 total damage. Now, Darth Maul will use Riposte on that last attack before he goes. That is unfortunately a miss. Now it's Darth Maul's actual turn himself. Darth Maul will use Sith Rage. See what Darth Maul can do. That was a reroll, unfortunately. Gotta be careful with the rolling. A 16, that will be a hit. Darth Revan will attempt to block. A miss. So that'll be 1 hit on Revan. Attack number 2, also a hit. And then the final attack is a critical 20. All attacks hit. That's a lot of damage. Very impressive. That was 90 damage to Darth Revan in just 1 turn. Let's roll for initiative. Darth Maul got a 16, and Revan got a 10, though Darth Revan will choose to go first. Let's take that Force Point. I also did forget that Darth Maul, when he did the attack, should have rolled for Corruption. Let's do that right now. So Darth Maul was not corrupted anymore. Okay, now that we're moving forward, Darth Revan will use Force Corruption and get that 20 damage onto Darth Maul just in case. And then attack. No, will not attack. That will be replaced as attacks. Darth Maul will... No, that's actually not worth it. Nah, it's not worth it at all. Darth Revan is going to just keep that Force Point and use triple attack and end this game. A 2, that is a miss. Let's re-roll. A 1, okay. First attack is a miss. Second attack is also a miss at a 2. So Darth Maul's likely going to survive. And the third attack is a 2. So Darth Revan was 2-2-2. Terrible rolling all around. Now Darth Maul will have a chance to try to take out Darth Revan. That'll be very impressive. A 20. Well, you couldn't have scripted this. Let's add the damage now. However, before the damage is added, Darth Revan must block this. Unlucky, did not block it. Will take the full damage. See if Darth Maul has 2 more attacks. This is an impressive win. If you can get it, a 19th Vapid style comes in again and ends Darth Revan. That was a unreal upset of a game 1. I did not see that coming. I would have thought Revan and his tricks and surprises would be plenty to be able to do that. So, okay, let's set up for game number 2. Here goes game number 2 between Darth Revan and Darth Maul Sith Apprentice. After some atrocious rolling by Revan and incredible rolling by Darth Maul, Darth Maul's got a 1-game lead. Revan needs to win 2 in order to stay alive and avoid the upset. 11 and 8. Darth Revan will elect to go first and move and do the same thing. Force Corruption, 20 damage to Darth Maul and get the ball rolling. That will take 1 Force Point off. Darth Maul will go and activate, and that will take off the Corruption. Darth Maul will move and attack once. That is an 11. Plus 11, that is a miss because of lightsaber duelist. Okay, let's do the next round. 11, 14, Darth Revan may choose to go first again. We'll use triple attack. First attack is a hit. Another hit. Last attack is a 14 hit, all hits. Darth Maul will use riposte on one of those last hits. And is a miss. Now on Darth Maul's actual turn, we'll use Force Point for Sith Rage. That is a miss. Attack number 2, a 14. That is a hit. And then the last attack, a 2, that is a miss, just 30 damage. Let's roll initiative. Darth Maul with a 19. Darth Revan with a 3, though Darth Revan will go first. Darth Revan will take a Force Point. And begin to use triple attack. 18, that is a hit. 19, that's a hit. That will actually end game number 2 quite decisively and quite quickly. Darth Maul goes down. Okay, Darth Revan has recovered and even the series at 1 apiece. Let's see if Darth Maul can get lucky again and finish the upset. Here we go. Game number 3. First game number 3 so far I've done. A 4 and a 12. Again, Revan will move. Use the Force Corruption strategy to get damage rolling on Darth Maul. Darth Maul will roll and does not get the corruption off and will take an additional 20 damage. In the meantime, Darth Maul will move and attack Darth Revan into a 16. That will hit. All right, initiative. See if Darth Maul cut a 2. See if Revan can get a 1. A 16. Revan will take a Force Point and unleash triple attack. A 1, that is a miss. Man, let's re-roll this. Don't want to use too many Force Points up here. A 14 is a hit. A 12, also a hit. And attack number 3 is a 7, also a hit, at least 60 damage. See, Darth Maul's going to hang on to that Force Point for Sith Rage later, if even possible. Let's use Sith Rage now with Darth Maul. See what can happen. See if he gets some Vapid style. A 17. That is a hit. Darth Revan's going to try to block it, though. That was successful. Darth Revan takes no damage. Attack number 2. A 6. That is a miss. And then attack number 3. Lucky. Nope, that is not a hit either. Okay, Darth Revan gets a 12 on the initiative and a 13 for Maul on the initiative. Darth Revan will go first. 1 attack is needed. That's it. Game over. Very, very impressive game 1 from Darth Maul, but after the luck kind of settled back to the norm, Darth Revan was able to quite easily dispatch of Darth Maul, Sith Apprentice. Well done, good game, and Darth Revan, will move on to the next round. Thank you for watching this one. Stay tuned for the next duel right after this. Hello, welcome back. This is Miniature Mike. This will be round 1 of the March Madness Star Wars Miniatures Sith Lords. This match will be featuring 9-seed Darth Caedus versus 8-seed Ulic Qel-Droma. Best of 3. Let's get started and see who will pull this one off. Hopefully this is going to be a much closer match than some of the ones we've had recently. Been having a lot of blowouts. But we will see what we got here. Okay, let's roll for initiative. Qel-Droma, 2. Actually gonna switch dice, so he got a 2. Qel-Droma has a 7. Let's see, Qel-Droma is going to stay where he is. And Darth Caedus is actually just going to stay where he is too. So probably the wrong move from Qel-Droma not to jump on that, because now he can do anti-flow walking. Initiative 7, a 3. Now Darth Caedus can choose to go first if he wants. Darth Caedus will again just stay right where he is and keep collecting force points. Meanwhile, Qel-Droma is going to move. I feel like Qel-Droma needs to move to... No, Qel-Droma's going to stay there. Okay, initiative at 2. A 20. Qel-Droma's going to go first, move, and attack Darth Caedus. A 14, that is definitely a hit. Now Darth Caedus has some options. Let's use Force Illusion. 11, success, no damage taken on that. Now Darth Caedus will retaliate, gain a force point, but we'll use that force point for Sith Rage. 13, that's a hit. Must get a higher than a 10. Qel-Droma will use one of his force points to attempt to block. A 7, that is a miss. He will take the damage, 30 damage, but the second attack is a 7. That will be a miss. Now, time for initiative. 5 and 6. Let's see, Qel-Droma will elect to go first. Darth Caedus will elect to use the anti-flow walking now to be able to do a turn before Ulic Qel-Droma goes. An attack. 14, that is a hit. A 4, that is a miss. But Ulic Qel-Droma can elect to use a force point to block. A 20, that's a successful block. But now that bonus turn, I guess you could call it, is done, now time for Qel-Droma to actually go first. Qel-Droma will simply just attack normally. Gets a 20, critical hit, 40 damage. And a 3, that is a miss. I'm not going to reroll, there's no need yet. Now Darth Caedus, on the other hand, will gain a force point. And simply just attack normally. A 9 plus 13, that's a miss. You must get a 10 or higher. Miss again. Okay, initiative check. 12 and 14. Qel-Droma will decide to go first. Qel-Droma will turn things up and use Sith Rage. That's a hit. Let's use Force Illusion on Caedus. Caedus succeeds, no damage. Second attack by Qel-Droma. A 6. That is still a hit. That will be 20, it'll be 30 damage. Now Caedus can retaliate. Hit, 17. Let's block that. With Qel-Droma. I'm gonna turn these flat. I don't know, that's fine how it is. See, Qel-Droma, will Qel-Droma get lucky? Yes, so that last block was successful, no damage. And then the second of the double attack is a critical hit, so should have tried to block the other one. That will be 40 damage. Let's do initiative again. Qel-Droma has a 6 and a 15 by Darth Caedus. Darth Caedus will elect to just keep the force point and use double attack. 8 is a miss. You must get a 10 or higher. Both of them are miss. I'm going to keep the force point for defense and for things later. Qel-Droma will also use double attack and miss. Critical miss. Must get a 4 or higher. 2 1s in a row. Terrible rolling by Qel-Droma. Okay, let's go back to initiative. 2 and 11. Qel-Droma will go first this time. And 11, that is going to be a hit for 20. And Darth Caedus will try to block that with Illusion. 14 is a success, no damage. Second attack, a 9, that is going to be a hit. Now Darth Caedus could try to retaliate, gain a force point. Darth Caedus needs to do more damage. I'm going to use Sith Rage. An 11, that is a hit, success. And a 6, that is a miss, so 30 damage. I don't have time for initiative. Qel-Droma gets 10 And Caedus gets a 6. Qel-Droma will go first and potentially win. Game number 1. 13 is a hit. Next attack is for the match. That is still a hit, so success. Therefore, Qel-Droma is going to take game number 1. Somewhat close. Qel-Droma survive even with bad rolling. Let's set up for game number 2. Initiative, game number 2. Caedus, a 12. And Qel-Droma, a 6. Caedus will just stand put and generate force points. Qel-Droma is going to move up though. I'm gonna move here so we can see them fight. Great, initiative check number 2. 15 and a 17. Qel-Droma is going to go first. Use Sith Rage to get extra damage in there. Let's go. 13, that is a hit. Let's have Darth Caedus use Illusion. A miss, too bad. Next attack is a 6, that is still a hit. These champions of the Force characters have insane stats. Oh my gosh. 30 damage total. Now let's see here. We'll have Darth Caedus gain the Force point and simply just attack back. 15 is a hit. Let's use block. Success. No damage for Qel-Droma. Darth Caedus will do attack number 2. A miss. Okay, that will end the round. Let's do initiative. A 6. And a 15. Darth Caedus will... I think Darth Caedus is going to wait one more time. Let's do... Dutch double attack with Sith Rage. A 17, that's a hit. Gotta try to block one of these attacks with Illusion. Miss. And then a second attack, also a hit. Darth Caedus starting to kind of fall short. Let's do this second attack. Well, let's have Caedus go. Gain a force point. An 11. That is going to be a hit. Qel-Droma is going to try to block this one. Successfully blocked it. Qel-Droma is still scotch-free. 4 is a miss, so no damage. Initiative. 5. 8. This is tough. Okay, well, should use... Nah, I can't use anti-flow walking or else possibility Caedus will just straight up die and will be able to defend himself. Okay, Qel-Droma is just gonna go. A 5. That is a hit. So let's see if we can block this one. Illusion. Unlucky. No go. That will actually end Darth Caedus and knock Darth Caedus out. That was a pretty good game. Second game, not so good. But Ulic Qel-Droma will move on to the quarterfinals to face... I'm not going to spoil it, actually. Welcome to round 1 game between number 5 seed Darth Sion and 12 seed Freedon Nadd. This will be a best of 3. Game number 1 starts now. 11. 15. Let's see here. Freedon Nadd will definitely go first. Activate and move up to, but not all the way to. I'll actually move. I'll move all the way up. And just gain a force point. Darth Sion will activate and attack. 12. That will be a hit. Time for initiative. A 13 by Sion. Freedon Nadd only has a 3. Darth Sion will go first and use Sith Rage. A 14. That's good enough to hit. An 8. Not quite good enough. Freedon Nadd will now activate and use the force point from renewal to just use Sith Rage. A critical 20, that is a hit. And 18, that's also going to be hit. 70 damage. Initiative. A 6 from Sion. And an 11 from Freedon Nadd. Freedon Nadd will just go first right here and try to knock him out. Gain 1 force point. And attack. 14, that is a hit. A 2, that is a miss, but let's re-roll. A 10, that is good enough to defeat Darth Sion. And Darth Sion will elect to use Eternal Hatred and try to stay alive. A 14, Darth Sion is alive. Darth Sion will now activate and use double attack on Freedon Nadd. A 19 is a hit. An 18, also a hit, 40 damage. Time for initiative. A 10 from Sion and a 4 from Freedon Nadd. Darth Sion will go first and keep doing some damage. 12, that is a hit, getting lucky. A 2, that one's a miss, just 20 damage. Freedon Nadd will activate and counterattack. We'll use the force point from renewal on Sith Rage. A 6, it's actually a miss due to Lightsaber Duelist. A 19, that'll be 30 damage. Time for initiative. 16 from Sion. I think Sion's gonna win all of these initiatives. That's gonna help him a lot. 11, Sion will definitely go first and use double. 16 is a hit, 20 damage. 11, also a hit. That's actually going to defeat Freedon Nadd. Impressive. Very impressive game number 1. Let's reset for game number 2. Initiative for game number 2. A 16 for Sion. And a 10 for Nadd. Sion is going to move all the way up to, but not quite, onto Freedon Nadd. Freedon Nadd will activate, move up, gain a force point, and attack. A 16, that's enough for 20 damage. Initiative, a 19 for Sion, and a 6 for Nadd. Sion is definitely going to go first and use Sith Rage. Sion's winning all of the initiatives. A 10, not good enough to hit though. An 18, that will be 30 damage. Freedon Nadd, so he activated. Freedon Nadd will activate himself. Use the force point they would have gotten on Sith Rage. A 10, that is a hit. Also a hit, 60 damage. Time for initiative. It's getting kind of dicey. 13 this time. Can Freedon Nadd win one? He will not with a 2 and a 13. Sion will activate and use double attack and go first. 12, that is a hit. A 2, that is a miss. 20 damage. Freedon Nadd will attack. Just gain 1 force point. An attack standard. 11, that is a hit. And 1 more attack will kill Sion. A 3, that is a miss. I'm gonna re-roll. Must get a 7 or higher. A 4, still a miss. Let's roll initiative again for these guys. An 18 for Sion. A 13. Sion will definitely like to go first. Been getting very lucky in winning every single initiative. A 17, that's a hit. Attack number 2, 14, also a hit. Freedon Nadd will just gain 1 force point and use double. 5, a miss. Let's attack again. 14, that will kill Darth Sion, but Darth Sion will use Eternal Hatred. See if Darth Sion can come back. 16, Darth Sion is back to full health. Now time to set up for the next initiative. Let's see if Freedon Nadd can win one of these. A 5 from Sion. A 10, Freedon Nadd will go first. We'll use the force point and 1 additional force point from renewal and 1 additional on sorcery. Darth Sion will roll for sorcery and will elect to have the turn be skipped. That's really great. So therefore both of them are activated and Freedon Nadd will attack first. A 4, that is a miss. A 3, also a miss, so it didn't pay off whatsoever. Time for initiative again. A 6 by Sion. Freedon Nadd had a 2. Sion will definitely go first and use double. A 7, that's a miss. 16, that's 20 damage, hit. Freedon Nadd's got some work to do. Freedon Nadd will use the force point for a rage. Hit. 15. A 4, that is a miss, just 30 damage. Initiative for both. 13. A 19. Freedon Nadd will go first and will use Sith sorcery. Successful. Sion is activated. Let's use double attack now. 12, that is 1 hit. A 4, that is a miss, so 20 damage. Initiative. A 3. Freedon Nadd get a 12. Same thing. Let's use the same strategy. Use the force point from renewal and an additional on Sith sorcery. Let's see if Darth Sion can avoid it for once. Will not activate. Darth. So Freedon Nadd will use double though. 14 is a hit. One more attack. A 14 is also a hit, so total 40 damage. Time for Sion to counterattack. Attack number 1, a hit. Attack number 2, also a hit. That will actually defeat Freedon Nadd, and Darth Sion will advance to the next round. Really impressive. Extremely lucky initiative rolling from Darth Sion, but very impressive. Welcome to the first round matchup between 13 seed Lumiya the Dark Lady and number 4 seed Darth Krayt. For the purposes of crazy things, not necessarily, don't want wacky things to happen, I'm not going to be playing these as pits. Otherwise, Lumiya could just easily run over and throw them in a pit every single time. So, in practical games, keep that in mind. But in this one, I will not be playing that way because that would be defeat the purpose of this tournament. So, first things first, let's roll initiative. Get game number 1 underway. 11 by Lumiya, 15 by Darth Krayt. Darth Krayt will elect to move and use lightning, do 30 damage to Lumiya. Lumiya will move and attack once with melee reach 3. 8. That is actually going to be a miss, but we'll use a force point to reroll. Hit, 18. Crab armor comes into effect. A miss. Initiative. A 14 for Lumiya. And an 8 for our friend Darth Krayt. Lumiya will stay put and use double attack and activate. A 1. It's a miss. Let's reroll. Also a 1. Okay, second attack. A 4. No good there, but will regenerate 10 HP. Krayt will move all the way up to Lumiya and start attacking. Let's gain a force point and attack once. A 4, that will miss, but we will use that force point to reroll. A 3, also a miss. Initiative from Darth Krayt, a 4, and Lumiya's initiative is a 17. Lumiya will absolutely go first. Use double attack and regeneration first and double attack. A 5, miss. 17 hit, 20 damage. Krayt. An 18 will successfully reduce that damage just to 10. Darth Krayt will now activate, gain a force point, and do triple attack. 17. Oh. Messed it up. 17. Attack number 2 is an 11, also a hit. And then the last attack is a 13. 3 hits. Time for initiative. A 17 from Lumiya. Darth Krayt with a 20. Darth Krayt is going to go first and try to do some massive damage right here. Let's gain a force point. Attack number 1, a critical 20. Oh boy, this is going to be tough for Lumiya. So 40 damage. A 6, that is still enough to hit. That's going to be 60. And a 14, that is 80 damage. That will defeat Lumiya. And the self-destruct will not come into play. Let's reset for game number 2. Initiative. A 15 from Lumiya. And an 8. Lumiya will elect to move. And then we'll attack Darth Krayt once. A 19, that is a hit. Darth Krayt will reduce the damage to 10. Darth Krayt will move 1 square and gain a force point and attack. A 9, that is a hit. Initiative. A 3. Not good. Darth Krayt. Darth Krayt's going to take a force point, use triple attack, and let it all out. Attack number 1. An 8, that is still a hit. Number 2, 16, that is a hit. Attack number 3, an 8, that is a hit. So 60 damage. Lumiya will activate, use regeneration, and simply use force push too. Try a new strategy here. We'll push back Darth Krayt to the corner, and the 5 missed, so that will be 20 damage. Like I said before, I'm not playing with pits just because this is one of the only maps that has it, and it would not be balanced. Okay, next round. Initiative, a 5 by Lumiya, but a 20 from Darth Krayt. Darth Krayt will move, and we'll use Force Lightning and then move. So it's use the Force Renewal and one of these, do 30 damage, and will then move upwards. Now Lumiya will then use Regenerate, and will push him away again. Save for the damage. Success. Let's see, Krayt will now use the same strategy, 30 damage, and move up again. Initiative. 10. 6. All right, Lumiya will just use double attack here. Attack number 1 is a hit for crab armor, just 10 damage. Attack number 2, an 8. That will also actually miss. Lumiya will also use regeneration 10. Time for Darth Krayt to activate. Darth Krayt will simply gain a force point and attack several times. An 8, that is a hit. Next attack will win. A 7, that will defeat Lumiya the Dark Lady. Pretty unbalanced game. I'd say Darth Krayt handled it very, very well, and we'll move on to the quarterfinals. First round matchup between 3 seed Darth Bane and the 14 seed Darth Malak. Let's see how long Darth Malak can hang around for. A 10, and then we have a 3. See, Darth Malak is going to do some interesting things. Darth Malak's going to move here and use Saber Throw. A 7-15, that is a hit, 20 damage. Bane will move all the way, gain a force point. We'll move and use 2 things. With Master of the Force, we'll use Rage and use Assault. 2 attacks, 30 damage each. And also Jedi Hunter comes into play. That is a hit. Also a hit, 80 damage. The initiative, 13. A 17. Okay, Darth Bane. Darth Bane can end this one right now. Gain a force point, and will simply just attack normal. Let's see, 15, that's a 1 hit. That's all Bane needs to defeat him. He's out. That was fast. Let's set up for game number 2. And here's game number 2 between Darth Malak and Darth Bane. Initiative, 18, 11. Darth Malak is going to need to figure out some way of neutralizing this. Darth Malak will... Let's see, what will Darth Malak do? Not much, not many options here. Let's move like I did before. And use Saber Throw. Don't know what else to try. 14, that will be a hit for 20. Darth Bane will now activate. Same as before. Let's use that force point that I gain to use Rage and also Assault. It's going to be 50 damage apiece. I made a mistake on the last game, actually. It should have been 50 damage apiece for 100 total, not 80 total. That's my bad. 16, that is a hit. Attack number 2 is a 1. Very fortunate for him. Very fortunate for Malak. Let's roll initiative now. Let's see who will go first. A 20, that's going to help Malak out quite a bit. And a 1. Let's going first. Let's see, Malak will definitely use stun. Let's see if Bane can avoid it. Does avoid it successfully. That will probably be the end then. Darth Malak will attack a 5. That is a hit. And the second attack is 11, so 40 damage. Darth Bane will now end Darth Malak, gain a force point, and will also use Sith Rage. Just one Sith Rage and save the other one for a reroll potentially. 12, that is a hit for 50. Again, done. Darth Malak is defeated and Bane made quick work of him. Welcome to round 1 matchup between the 11 seed Darth Talon and the 6 seed Naga Sadow. Let's jump right on into it. Very different characters. A 2 by Talon, a 17 by Sadow. Let's see here. Gain a force point, and let's get into business. We'll move all the way up to Darth Talon. Feeling very confident, and we'll do nothing. Darth Talon will now move, not move, but Darth Talon will gain a force point, and we'll just simply use twin attack. A hit, a second hit as well. 2 hits. Naga Sadow will elect on that second one to use illusion, and was successful. Time for initiative. A 7, a 4. See, Darth Talon will definitely elect to go first. Darth Talon will gain another force point. Not a damage, a force point. And use twin. It's a 6 or higher, a miss. Let's re-roll that one. 14, hit. Naga Sadow will use illusion. A success. Second attack by Talon is a hit. Let's use illusion again. A miss that time, 20 damage. Naga Sadow will now use double attack. 17, that is a hit. Save for poison. A success. And we'll also use Force Bubble to make that no damage. Naga Sadow will attack again, a 10. That will also be a hit. Save for poison. Let's miss, that will be 40 damage. Can't forget to get the force point as well for activating. Initiative. 11. A 5. Darth Talon will absolutely go first. Let's take a force point and get going. Attack. I need a 6 or higher. Hit 16. Naga Sadow will use Illusion to try to keep this damage at bay. 11, success. Second attack by Talon. A 19, that will definitely hit, and there's no defense this time. Sadow will elect to activate, obviously, and gain a force point, and use double attack. First attack obviously is a hit. Let's roll for poison. That is a miss. That's right, poison is a save of 16, not 11. Let's use bubble to reduce that to 20 total damage. And then the second attack, again a hit, will poison save her. Does not get the poison save, that will be 60 damage total. Time for initiative again. At 14. A 4. Definitely Darth Talon will go first. Darth Talon's been getting lucky with these initiative rolls. Let's attack. A 10. That is enough to hit. Naga Sadow will use Illusion. Not successful. We'll take the 20 damage. Darth Talon will attack again. Miss. Let's re-roll that attack with the force point I just received. 12. That will be a hit. 40 damage total. Naga Sadow will get a force point and begin attacking. First attack is going to be a hit. Save for poison. It is not good enough. No matter what happens, Darth Talon will be defeated in game number 1. Put up a solid fight, but is defeated. Let's set up for game number 2. Game number 2, initiative 20. 18. Darth Talon will absolutely go first. Darth Talon will gain a force point and move and use Force Lightning 20. That'll be 20 damage to Sadow. Sadow will move himself, gain a force point, and attack once. A 4. That's actually going to be a miss. Let's re-roll the attack though to get that damage in. A 9. That is a hit. Roll for poison. Unsuccessful. And she will use bubble to try to reduce it down by 20 damage. Initiative, a 6. A 9. Naga Sadow is going to go first. Activate. Gain a force point. We'll use 2 force points on Sith Sorcery. Successful, avoided that. And then we'll keep the other force point for now. Let's attack twice. A 4, that is a miss. Let's re-roll the attack. 17 is a hit. Roll for poison. Success, that'll be just 20 damage now. Second attack is a hit. Roll for poison. A miss, 60 damage. She will go first. She will now do her turn. Gain a force point and attack twice. A miss. That's unfortunate. Let's re-roll. Well, yeah, let's re-roll. Gotta get that damage in there somehow. A 2, that's a miss. And then the second attack for twin attack is a 9. That will hit. Initiative, a 19 and a 12. Talon will absolutely elect to go first. Gain the force point and start attacking away. A miss. Let's re-roll this. 16 is a hit. A 10 is also a hit. 40 damage. Sadow will also attack. Use double. An 11. That's a hit. Gotta roll for poison to survive. Success. So survived a little bit longer. Second attack. Must get a 6 or higher to hit. A miss. However, Naga Sadow did get a force point. Can't forget that. We'll use it now. Hit. Now we'll defeat Darth Talon. There's nothing she can do about it. Put up a decent fight there, but at the end of the day, Naga Sadow was too overwhelming. Welcome to first round matchup between 7C Darth Plagueis and a 10C Darth Sidious Sith Master. It's going to be Master versus Apprentice game here. Let's jump right on into this. Let's see, should only have 2 force points. Initiative, a 19 by Sidious and a 13 by Plagueis. Sidious will elect to move here, use one of the renewals and that for Force Lightning. Let's do 30 damage to Darth Plagueis. Start beating him away a little bit. Darth Plagueis will stay right where he is and will use Force Corruption 4. And that will be all 4 force points that he gained and that he already had to do 40 damage to Sidious. Time for initiative. A 15. A 2. Darth Plagueis will elect to do absolutely nothing and let Force Corruption do its work. Darth Sidious will move, but needs to do Corruption first. Unsuccessful. I do have a force point from a renewal. Let's re-roll and get uncorrupted. Unsuccessful again. That's bad. Very bad. That'll be 40 damage. And we'll move and attack. 1. There is Master of the Force available, so let's re-roll this attack. A 10. That is a hit. Plagueis will roll for parry. Successful. No damage. Roll for initiative. I missed 20 damage, so now it's 80, which is correct. Darth Plagueis, a 7. Darth Sidious, a 6. Darth Plagueis will get the 2 force points. And will simply just attack. A critical hit. That's it. Critical hit is actually going to knock Darth Sidious out quickly. Let's set up for game number 2. That was a very, very fast game number 1. Let's do game number 2. Initiative, 13 and 18. In this case, Sidious will get their ESAP. Use a force point to go an extra square and attack. A 16, that is a hit. Parry is a miss. I will take... Plagueis will just take that 20 damage this time. Now Plagueis will activate and gain the 2 force points and use Force Corruption and get the damage going. Time for initiative. Plagueis with a 15. Sidious with a 3. Plagueis will go first. You gain 2 force points and simply attack. A 19, that is a hit. Plagueis is getting very lucky with those specific attacks. Now Sidious will activate, but must first roll for Corruption. A miss. Sidious can't keep this going. Let's roll again. Miss. Let's re-roll one more time due to Master of the Force 2. Holy smokes, a 2. Darth Sidious is screwed. Let's do the 50 damage, 40 damage I should say. And now Darth Sidious can actually do his turn. Triple attack. Attack number 1. Attack number 1 is in fact a hit. Let's do parry. A miss, but let's re-roll for parry. Success. Attack number 2. That is a hit. Let's roll for parry. Miss. And I cannot re-roll because I already did it. Attack number 3. 5. Barely a hit in this case. Roll for parry. Success. So it'll just be 20 damage. Alright. So now we have initiative between the 2 again. 7. And a 3. Darth Plagueis will simply elect to just attack. Gain the 2 force points. Try to knock him out right now. A 15. That's all I needed. Darth Sidious Sith Master is out. Darth Plagueis was successful and won this pretty handedly. Hello, this is Miniature Mike. Welcome to the first round of the Star Wars Miniatures Sith Lords March Madness tournament. This game is going to be featuring number 2 seed Exar versus the 15 seed Darth Malak, Dark Lord of the Sith. It will be a best 2 out of 3. Let's jump right into it. We got Exar with a 5 and Darth Malak, Dark Lord of the Sith, with an 11. Darth Malak is going to move and move right up here. There you go. And use a force point plus the renewal to do 30 damage with lightning. Let's see, Exar will move 6 and use lightsaber assault and do 2 attacks. Basically, everything's a hit for the most part. Must get a 5 or higher. Both of them are hits. That'll be 40 damage. Let's roll for initiative. A 6 by Exar and a 7 by Darth Malak. Darth Malak will go first. Will forego Sith Rage and use Force Stun instead. Oh, wrong. It's Exar that must roll for it. 11, success. Alright, Darth Malak will do his best shot. Hit. A 1, that is a miss. 20 damage. In retaliation, Sith Rage will come from Exar. Let's see here. How many hits? Hit number 1. Miss. And hit number 2. 60 damage. So initiative again. A 13. And a 5. Exar will go first. And will use Sith Rage. That's enough to take him out. Exar wins game number 1. Let's reset and do game number 2. Here goes game number 2 between Darth Malak, Sith Lord, Dark Lord of the Sith, and Exar A 5 and a 10. Darth Malak will allow Exar to go first in this case. Exar will gain a force point and will move and use Sith Sorcery. See if Darth Malak can avoid losing. Oh. Did not do that. Darth Malak's just gonna have skip. Yeah, it's not worth it. Darth Malak will skip the turn. Initiative. 18 and 1. Exar will move and use lightsaber assault. Hit. Oh, critical 20. And a 19. Almost 20 again. It'd be 60 damage total. Darth Malak will retaliate with Sith Rage and use the force point for force renewal. A 2, that's a miss. And then a 7, that is barely a hit. That will do 30 damage. Let's do initiative. A 4 for and a 9 for Darth Malak. Darth Malak will use his force renewal and use force stun. Will Exar be able to evade it? Yes, so force stun is evaded. Let's do the double attack. A miss. And then another miss by Darth Malak. That's unfortunate for him. Exar will use the force point from Sith Rage and go to town. A 6, that is a hit. A 1, that's a miss. A 10, that is a hit. That'll be 60 damage. Roll again for initiative. A 20 by Exar and then an 11 by Darth Malak. Exar will end the game right now and just go for it. 15, game over. Exar wins the best 2 out of 3 by winning 2 matches back to back. Very, very decisive fashion. It's going to be tough for anyone to take out Exar Thank you for watching this. Stay tuned in and we'll move into the next game.